The medical bay of the Aurora hummed with activity as Chief Medical Officer Valerie Thompson examined their alien guest. Lux sat patiently on the examination table, her 6 ears twitching at each new sound, while her forearms were folded neatly. In her lap, her azure fur shimmered under the bright lights, revealing patterns that seemed to shift with her breathing. Fascinating, Dr. Thompson murmured as she reviewed the scanner results. Your cellular structure can process radiation that would be lethal to humans, and these glands near your brain. What purpose do they serve? Lux blinked her silver eyes slowly. The translator hanging around her neck processed her melodic speech. My people were once telepathic before evolution favored physical adaptations. The glands are vestigial. Now, though some silvery reported sensing emotions in other species, Kate stood nearby, watching the examination with interest. Each new detail about Lux painted a picture of a remarkable species. The loss of their civilization seemed even more tragic, knowing what unique beings they had been. What about the data you mentioned carrying? Kate asked. Are the records safe? Lux reached into a pouch at her side and removed several crystalline cubes that glowed with internal light. These contain everything, she explained. Our history, science, art, philosophy. Genetic records, the collective knowledge of 6 million years of civilization. Kate gently took one of the cubes, feeling its warm pulse against her palm like a heartbeat. The responsibility of protecting these treasures weighed heavily on her. She handed the cube back to Lux with reverence. We will help you find a safe place for these records, she promised, and for you as well. Lux tilted her head in that curious way that Kate was beginning to recognize as her thinking posture. The Silvari have a saying, she said. My home is where my name is known. You have given me a name, Captain Kate Madison. Perhaps my home is now with you. Before Kate could respond, the ship alarm blared through the medical bay. Red Alert Battle Station's Commander Melissa Brown announced over the intercom. Draconian warship detected on approach. Vector Kate sprinted to the bridge with Lux following close behind her movements, graceful despite her injured leg. The main view screen showed a massive reptilian vessel bearing down on them, its weapon ports glowing with charged energy. They must have tracked my ship. Lux said, her ears flattening against her head. The Draconians believe consuming Silvari brain tissue grants them our knowledge. They will not stop hunting me. Evasive maneuvers, Kate ordered as she took her command chair. Shields at maximum power. The Aurora shuddered as the first draconian energy blast struck. Their shields, Chief Engineer Olivia Chen reported from her station, shields holding at 87%, Captain. But we cannot withstand sustained fire from a vessel that size. Hail them, Kate commanded. We need to buy time. The reptilian face that appeared on screen sent chills down Kate's spines. The draconian commander hissed, displaying rows of needle-sharp teeth. Human vessel, the translator rendered its speech, surrender. The Silvari female immediately. She is the property of the Draconian Empire. Kate stood tall facing the screen. This ship is under Earth Alliance protection. The being you seek has requested asylum, which we have granted. She is not property. She is a person under our laws. The Draconian commander laughed, a chilling sound. Your laws mean nothing in this sector, Captain. The female contains valuable genetic material and knowledge that belongs to us by right of conquest. Surrender her or be destroyed. You have 1 minute to comply. The transmission ended, leaving the bridge. Intense silence. Kate turned to her tactical officer, Lieutenant Allison Park. Status of weapons, all systems ready. Captain Park responded, but their ship outguns us 3-1. Even with our advanced shields, we cannot win a direct confrontation. Kate looked at Lux, who stood quietly beside her command chair. The alien female appeared calm despite the mortal danger she faced, her silver eyes reflecting starlight from the view screen. I will surrender myself, Lux said softly. I cannot allow you to die protecting me. Kate shook her head firmly. No one gets left behind on my ship, she declared, turning back to her crew. Set course for the Cygnus Nebula, maximum speed. But Captain, that nebula is uncharted, Melissa protested. The magnetic interference will disable our navigation systems. Exactly, Kate smiled. And theirs too. Lieutenant Park, prepare to drop proximity mines on my mark. Chief Chen, I need all power to engines. The Aurora shot forward as Kate implemented her desperate plan. The Draconian vessel pursued, firing continuously as the shields of the human ship weakened with each hit. The colorful gases of the nebula loomed ahead, a chaotic storm of energy and matter that would blind sensors and disrupt communications. Now, Kate ordered, as they crossed the nebula boundary. The Aurora shuddered as the mines deployed behind them, creating a series of explosions that temporarily blocked the path of their pursuer. The nebula enveloped them in swirling clouds of purple and blue gases, static electricity dancing across the viewscreen, all systems failing, Commander Chen reported as lights flickered throughout the ship. We have emergency power only, just as Kate had planned. The massive Draconian warship would have even more difficulty navigating the nebula with its larger mass and power requirements. They had bought themselves time but were now effectively blind and stranded. Lux approached the view screen, her 4 hands touching the surface gently. I can help, she said, her voice soft but determined. My people evolved in a nebula similar to this one. Our senses were adapted to navigate such conditions. Kate watched in amazement as Lux closed her silver eyes, her 6 ears extending to their full length and rotating like satellite dishes. The fur along her body stood on end, glowing faintly with bioluminescence. Turn off all remaining power. Commander Chen, Lux instructed. We are broadcasting our position. Though hesitant, Kate nodded. Giving permission. The ship went dark, except for the emergency lighting and the gentle glow emanating from Luxi. Can sense the energy currents. Lux explained, her voice taking on a melodic quality. 20 degrees to port, there is a current that will carry us deeper into the nebula away from the Draconians. Their ship is too large to follow where we must go. Kate gave the order, and the Aurora drifted silently through the colorful gases, guided only by Lux, instinctive understanding of the nebula. For 6 hours they continued this way. The alien female directing small course corrections as they penetrated deeper into the uncharted region. Finally, Lux opened her eyes. We are safe, she announced. The Draconians have withdrawn. Their vessel is not designed to withstand the radiation in. This part of the nebula power was gradually restored to the ship systems. As the crew worked to repair damage, Kate brought Lux to her private quarters. The alien was exhausted. Her fur had lost some of its luster, and her movements were slow. You saved us all, Kate said softly. Thank you. Lux sank onto the floor, curling her body in what appeared to be a natural resting position for her species, her tail wrapped around her as she looked up at Kate with those remarkable silver eyes. You risked everything. For me, she responded. Someone you just met from a species you do not know. Such compassion is rare in this galaxy. Captain Kate. Madison. Kate smiled, sitting on the floor beside the alien. I gave you a name, she said, remembering what Lux had said earlier. My home is where my name is known. Welcome home. Lux. The alien female ears perked forward in that expression of pleasure Kate was coming to recognize. A bond was forming between them, one that transcended species and would soon change the course of galactic politics forever. The strange blue light of distant stars filtered through the viewports of Outpost 12 as Captain Kate Madison reviewed the latest mission reports from Galactic Command. The frontier station buzzed with activity as traders from 17 systems bartered goods and shared stories of far-off worlds. Kate had been stationed here for only 2 standard months, but already she felt the familiar itch for open space and new adventures. Her communicator chimed softly, alerting her to an incoming transmission from Admiral Leah Wilson. Kate tapped the device on her wrist and the holographic image of her superior materialized before her. Captain Madison, the Admiral began, her expression serious. We have a situation developing in the Andromeda sector. Our long-range scanners have detected an unidentified vessel drifting near the border of Draconian territory. Kate frowned at the mention of the reptilian species known throughout the galaxy as merciless hunters. The Draconians viewed most sentient species as either threats to eliminate or resources to exploit. What do we know about the vessel, she asked, running a hand through her short auburn hair. Very little, Admiral Wilson replied. The craft appears damaged, and we detect only one life sign, Aboard the energy signature suggests technology unlike anything in our database. This could be first contact with a new species. Kate nodded. Understanding the implications, Galactic Command protocols required experienced captains to handle first contact scenarios, and with her record of 17 successful encounters, she was the logical choice. The starship Aurora is ready for immediate departure. Admiral Wilson continued. Your orders are to investigate the vessel, retrieve any survivors, and gather intelligence on this potentially new species. The Draconians must not be allowed to make first contact. 6 hours later, Kate stood on the bridge of the Aurora, a sleek exploration vessel equipped with the latest defensive systems and scientific equipment. Her crew of 27 specialists worked efficiently around her, preparing for the jump to faster-than-light travel. Melissa Brown, the navigation officer, looked up from her console. Course plotted Captain ETA to target coordinates 12 hours at maximum speed. Engage, Kate commanded, settling into her command chair as the stars outside the viewport stretched into brilliant streaks of light. The journey passed without incident, giving Kate time to brief her team on first contact protocols. Chief Science Officer Laura Green prepared the universal translator, while Security Chief Allison Park ran drills with her team, ensuring they were ready for any scenario. When the Aurora dropped out of FTL, the damaged vessel came immediately into view. Its design was unlike anything Kate had ever seen. Resembling a giant seed pod with crystalline structures sprouting from its hull, the ship drifted silently against the backdrop of space. No response to hail attempts reported communications. Officer Nicole Davis, her fingers dancing across her console. Life support systems appear to be functioning at minimal levels, but I detect significant damage to their propulsion system. Prepare the shuttle, Kate ordered. I will lead the boarding party, Chief. Park stepped forward, her hand resting on her sidearm. Captain regulations state that the commanding officer should not. Kate raised a hand, silencing her. This is first contact, Allison. I need to be there. The alien aboard might be injured or frightened. A captain shows respect by making personal contact. The boarding party consisted of Kate, Chief Green, and 2 security officers. The short journey to the alien vessel was tense with anticipation, as Kate wondered what kind of being awaited them. The docking procedure went smoothly, the airlocks connecting with a soft hiss as atmospheric pressure equalized. The interior of the alien ship glowed with soft blue bioluminescent light, revealing corridors that seemed grown rather than constructed. The walls pulsed gently as if the ship itself were breathing. Kate ran her scanner along the unusual surface. Organic technology, whispered Chief Green, her eyes wide with wonder. The entire ship is alive or partially alive. Incredible. They moved deeper into the vessel, following the faint life sign reading on their scanners. The corridors narrowed, then opened into what appeared to be a control chamber. In the center lay a curled figure with azure fur and multiple limbs. Kate approached slowly, her hands visible and empty as she knelt beside the alien. The creature resembled a fox with 6 delicate ears and 4 slender arms. Its chest rose and fell with labored breaths as silver eyes flickered open, focusing on Kate with startling intelligence. "I'm Captain Kate Madison of Earth," she said, as Chief Green activated the universal translator. "We come in peace." The alien struggled to sit up, revealing a slender form covered in silky blue fur. Its 4 hands moved in complex patterns before one reached out toward Kate. The translator hummed, processing the gesture and vocalizations. "My designation is Thazkirksalux of the Silvari," came the translated response. "The words in my language mean keeper of ancient memory." Kate smiled, noticing how the alien tilted, her head in curiosity. "That name is beautiful but difficult for humans to pronounce. Would you mind if I called you Lux? It means light, in an old Earth language." The alien blinked her silver eyes, considering, then made a chirping sound that the translator did not process but that Kate somehow understood was agreement. Her 6 ears perked forward in what seemed like pleasure. Lux tried to stand but stumbled, her lower right limb clearly injured. Kate caught her without hesitation, supporting the surprisingly light alien. "Your ship is badly damaged," Kate explained. "We can offer medical assistance and repairs." Lux looked around the chamber, her ears flattening against her head. The Draconians attacked without warning, she explained. They hunt my kind to extinction. I am the last archivist carrying the final records of my civilization. Kate felt a surge of protective anger hearing this. The mission had just become much more complicated than a simple rescue. The last survivor of an entire species now depended. On her decisions, we will help you, Lux, she promised. We will not let your knowledge or your people be forgotten, as they prepared to transfer Lux to the Aurora. Kate realized this encounter would change not just her life, but potentially the course of galactic politics. The human captain and the alien archivist, two women from worlds apart, bound together by circumstance and the universal desire to survive. 3 weeks passed as the Aurora remained hidden in the nebula, making necessary repairs. Lux had become an invaluable member of the crew. Her forearms and natural understanding of the nebula environment, making her an excellent engineer. Her ability to reach into tight spaces and manipulate multiple tools simultaneously impressed even Chief Engineer Olivia Chen. Captain, she can rewire a power coupling in half the time it takes my best technicians, Chen reported with admiration. And her understanding of crystalline computing is revolutionary. Kate was pleased to see how quickly her crew had accepted Lux. The alien female spent her days working alongside the humans, and her nights curled at the foot of Kate's bed, a sleeping arrangement that had begun when Lux explained that Silvery were pack creatures who found comfort in sleeping near those they trusted. At first, Kate had found it strange, but now she had grown accustomed to the gentle purring sounds Lux made in her sleep. On this particular morning, Kate found Lux in the science lab working with Laura Green to analyze the data crystals that contained the Silveri cultural records. We have managed to access the historical archives. Lux explained, her 6 ears perking forward with excitement. I am teaching your computers to read Silveri data structures. Would you like to see images of my homeworld? Kate nodded and watched as the laboratory wall screen filled with breathtaking vistas of a planet with purple skies and floating crystal cities. The Silveri civilization had been beautiful, their architecture blending seamlessly with the natural environment. This was the capital city, Lux said, her voice tinged with sadness. It stood for 12,000 years before the Draconians destroyed it. Kate placed a comforting hand on Lux's shoulder, feeling the soft fur beneath her fingers. How did the war with the Draconians begin? She asked gently. The 6 ears flattened against Lux's head. We had no war with them, she explained. We were scholars and artists, not warriors. When they first came to our world, we welcomed them, shared our knowledge, but they discovered that consuming our brain tissue gave them temporary access to our ancestral memories. Our entire history could be experienced. Through this barbaric practice, they began hunting us systematically. Horror and anger filled Kate as she imagined the peaceful Silveri being slaughtered for their genetic memories. No wonder Lux was so desperate to preserve what remained of her. People, a ship-wide announcement interrupted their conversation. Captain, to the bridge, urgent transmission from Galactic Command. Kate hurried to the bridge with Lux following close behind. On the main view screen, Admiral Leah Wilson looked grave. Captain Madison, we have a diplomatic crisis developing. The Draconian Empire has filed a formal complaint accusing Earth of harboring a fugitive and stealing valuable research materials. They demand the return of the Silvery female and her data crystals. Kate felt her jaw tighten. The Draconians were trying to use politics to accomplish what their weapons could not. They have no claim to her. Admiral Lux has requested asylum. Unfortunately, the situation is complicated. The Admiral continued. The Draconians are threatening to cancel their dilithium trade agreements with 3 of our colony worlds. Millions of civilians depend on that energy source. For survival, Kate glanced at Lux, who stood perfectly still, her silver eyes fixed on the screen. The alien understood exactly what was happening. She was being treated as a bargaining chip in galactic politics. What are my orders? Admiral Kate asked, though she already knew what her personal decision would be. Regardless of the answer, report to Earth headquarters. Immediately, Admiral Wilson ordered. The Diplomatic Corps wants to interview the Silvari and evaluate her asylum claim. The Draconian ambassador will be present as well. The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in silence. Kate turned to her navigation. Officer, set course for Earth, she ordered, maximum speed. Lux approached Kate, her expression unreadable. You will not surrender me to them. she asked, her voice barely audible. Kate looked directly into those silver eyes. Never, she promised. The asylum claim is just a formality. No human court would send you back to those who would destroy you for your knowledge. The journey to Earth took 11 days, during which Kate and Lux prepared their case, documenting the Silvari genocide and the importance of preserving their cultural heritage. Laura Green and the science team created presentations showing the advanced technology and scientific knowledge contained in the data crystals, knowledge that could benefit all species if shared properly. Earth loomed large in the view screen, a blue marble wrapped in the orbital stations and defensive platforms that protected humanity. Capital World. The Aurora docked at Central Station, where a diplomatic escort waited to bring Kate and Lux to the hearing. Council chamber was impressive with its high ceilings and representatives from 20 allied species seated in tiered rows. The Draconian delegation occupied one side, their scales gleaming under the bright lights, their yellow eyes fixed on Lux. With hungry intensity, Ambassador Grace Ellis of Earth opened the proceedings. The council will now hear testimony regarding the asylum request of the being known as Lux, last survivor of the Silvari species. The Draconian Empire has filed a formal request for her return, claiming prior jurisdiction. The Draconian ambassador stepped forward, his forked tongue flicking out as he spoke. The female and her data crystals are the spoils of a legitimate military conquest, he hissed. The Silvari civilization resisted incorporation into our empire and paid the price of rebellion. Their knowledge and genetic material belong to the victors by galactic law. Kate fought to control her anger at this blatant lie. She took her place at the podium. The Silvari were a peaceful species of scholars. She stated they had no military and offered no resistance. What the Draconian Empire committed was not conquest but genocide. They hunt Silvari to consume their brain tissue for the ancestral memories contained within a barbaric practice by any civilized standard. Murmurs spread through the chamber as Kate presented evidence from the data crystals, showing the peaceful nature of Silvari civilization, and records of the Draconian attacks. Lux stood silently. Beside her, her presence a testimony to what had been lost. When it was her turn to speak, Lux stepped forward, her azure fur gleaming under the lights, her posture dignified despite being surrounded by strangers. I am the last archivist of my people, she said, her melodic voice carrying through the chamber. I carry the collective knowledge of 6 million years of civilization, not as property to be consumed, but as a sacred trust to be preserved. The chamber fell silent as Lux activated one of her data crystals, projecting images of Silvari cities before and after the Draconian attacks. The beauty of her civilization and the horror of its destruction moved many of the delegates visibly. I ask not only for asylum, she continued, but for recognition of the Silvari contribution to galactic knowledge. Our science, our art, our philosophy, these belong not to the Draconians who would destroy them, but to all who seek wisdom. Captain Kate Madison gave me a name in her language, Lux, which means light. Let the light of Silvari knowledge shine for all species, not be extinguished in darkness. The council deliberated for 3 days. During this time, Kate remained at Lux's side, protecting her from Draconian delegates who seemed to find ways to encounter them in corridors and gathering areas. Finally, they were summoned to hear the verdict. Ambassador Ellis stood solemn as she announced the decision. The council recognizes the claim of asylum for the being known as Lux. The cultural and scientific knowledge of the Silvari people is declared a protected heritage of all sentient species. The Draconians' claims are rejected as counter to the fundamental principles of galactic cooperation. Relief washed over Kate as she looked at Lux, whose 6 ears stood fully erect in what she now recognized as an expression of joy. The Draconian delegation stormed from the chamber, hissing threats of diplomatic consequences, but the most surprising announcement was yet to come. In recognition of the unique status of Lux as the last of her kind, Ambassador Ellis continued, she is hereby appointed as cultural attaché to the Earth Alliance with diplomatic immunity and protection. A new research institute will be established to study and preserve Silvari knowledge. With Lux as its director, Kate felt pride swell within her as Lux stepped forward to accept the appointment. The alien female had come so far from the frightened refugee she had rescued just weeks ago. Now she stood as an equal among the representatives of the most powerful species in the galaxy. That night, as they prepared to return to the Aurora, Lux curled at the foot of Kate's bed, as had become their custom captain. She said softly, "I have been given a great honor today. But there is one honor I value more." "What is that?" Kate asked, curious. "The name you gave me," Lux replied, her silver eyes shining in the dim light. "Among my people, to name someone is to claim them as family. In giving me a name, you made me part of your pack. Your clan, that means more than any title the council could bestow." Kate smiled, understanding the depth of what Lux was saying. The simple act of giving her a nickname had created a bond between them that transcended species and politics. It was a human gesture that had changed the course of a life and perhaps the course of galactic history. "You are family now," Lux, Kate said simply, "and family protects each other." Lux's tail swished happily as she settled into sleep. The light of distant stars filtered through the viewport, illuminating her azure fur. A new chapter was beginning for both of them, one filled with discovery, diplomacy, and the preservation of an ancient legacy. 6 months after the council hearing, the Silvari Institute of Cultural Heritage opened its doors on Earth. A gleaming structure of crystal and living architecture, designed to honor Lux's lost homeworld, humans and aliens alike, visited the institute to learn about the ancient civilization and the knowledge they had gathered over millions of years. Kate had been promoted to Commodore for her role in the Lux Affair, as it was now called in diplomatic circles, but she had refused a desk job, preferring to remain captain of the Aurora. The ship had been assigned as the official transport for the new cultural attaché, allowing Kate and Lux to continue their journey together. On this particular day, Kate found Lux in the observation lounge, staring out at the stars, her azure fur reflecting the cosmic light. Her 6 ears twitched slightly, acknowledging Kate's presence before she spoke. "The Draconians have been unusually quiet these past months." Lux observed, her silver eyes troubled. "I fear they are planning something." Kate nodded, having received similar warnings from Galactic Intelligence. "Our patrols have reported increased activity near the border worlds, but no direct provocations yet. The trade sanctions have hurt them more than they anticipated." Lux turned, her 4 hands clasped in a gesture Kate had come to recognize as concern. "I have been studying the data crystals more deeply," she said. "There is information about my species that I did not fully understand before." "Something the Draconians may have discovered." Kate raised an eyebrow. "What kind of information?" "The Silvari were not always peaceful scholars," Lux explained. "We evolved from predator species with powerful psionic abilities. As we developed civilization, we deliberately bred these traits out of our genetic line, considering them too dangerous and primitive. But the potential remains dormant in our DNA." Kate began to understand the implications. "Is that why the Draconians hunted your people?" "They wanted these abilities for themselves." Lux's ears flattened. "Yes, consuming our brain tissue gave them temporary access to these dormant abilities. But the effect was addictive and fleeting, driving them to hunt us to extinction." The ship intercom interrupted their conversation. "Commodore Madison to the bridge. Urgent message from Admiral Wilson." When Kate arrived on the bridge with Lux, the familiar face of her superior appeared on screen. "Commodore, we have a situation. 3 colony worlds near the Draconian border have gone silent simultaneously. No distress calls, no communications of any kind." Kate felt a chill run down her spine. "Were there Draconian ships detected in the area?" The Admiral replied, "That's the concerning part. Our long-range scanners show no vessel movements at all in those sectors. It's as if everyone simply vanished. We need you to investigate immediately." "The Aurora is the closest ship with first contact experience. We are on our way," Kate confirmed. "Estimated arrival at the nearest colony. 12 hours. At maximum speed," the Admiral answered. "Be careful, Kate. This feels wrong. Intelligence suggests the Draconians have been experimenting with new weapons, possibly biological or psionic in nature. The Aurora has been equipped with the latest sensor. Packages use them." The transmission ended, Leaving the bridge crew looking to Kate for guidance, set course for New Montana colony. She ordered maximum speed. Yellow alert. All departments prepare for possible biohazard protocols. As the Aurora jumped to FTL speed, Kate noticed Luck standing very still, her eyes unfocused and her ears rotating in different directions. "What is it?" she asked, recognizing the signs that the alien was sensing something beyond human perception. "I feel echoes," she whispered, "something reaching out across space. Something hungry." The journey to New Montana passed intense preparation. The science team led by Laura Green reviewed all available data on draconian weapons research, while the medical department under Valerie Thompson prepared quarantine protocols. Engineering teams checked the ship's defensive systems multiple times, finding no issues yet. Anxiety spread throughout the crew. When they dropped out of FTL in orbit around New Montana, the viewing screen showed a planet that appeared normal and peaceful. Green continents and blue oceans under wisps of white clouds. The colony of 50,000 humans had been established 20 years earlier as an agricultural outpost. No response to Hale's reported communications. Officer Nicole Davis scanning all frequencies. No orbital traffic detected, but all satellites appear to be functioning normally. Kate frowned. "This makes no sense. Scan for life signs." Laura Green worked her console, then looked up with confusion. "Captain, I am detecting approximately 50,000 life signs consistent with human patterns, but they are strange." Strange how Kate pressed. They are all showing identical brainwave patterns. Green explained as if every person on the planet is thinking exactly the same thing at the same time, and there's something else mixed in with the human patterns. Something alien. Kate looked at Lux, who had grown increasingly agitated, her fur standing on end, and her silver eyes wide with what looked like fear. "They've done it," she whispered. "The Draconians have weaponized Silveri psionic abilities." "How?" Kate asked. "We need to know what we were facing. My people could form collective consciousness for short periods," Lux explained. "It was how we shared information rapidly. But the ability was strictly controlled because it could overwhelm individual identity. If the Draconians found a way to force this connection and control it, they could enslave entire populations through psionic domination." Kate made her decision. "Quickly, we need to see what's happening. Prepare an away team, full biohazard protocols and psionic dampening fields. I will lead." No, Lux interrupted, her ears fully erect. "I must go. My physiology may provide some natural resistance to whatever they've created." Kate wanted to refuse, but she knew Lux was right. The alien had insights into psionic phenomena that humans lacked. The away team consisted of Kate, Lux, Security Chief, Allison Park, Dr. Thompson, and 2 security officers, all equipped with the latest protective gear and psionic dampening devices. They beamed down to the colony main square, finding an eerie scene. The colonists moved about their daily tasks with mechanical precision, their faces blank and eyes unfocused. Children played in carefully coordinated patterns while adults worked in perfect unison without speaking. Dr. Thompson scanned the nearest colonist. A middle-aged man continued stacking crates as if the away team didn't exist. "His brainwaves are being overwritten," she reported. "They're an external psionic field controlling motor functions and suppressing consciousness. The pattern is unlike anything in our database." Lux approached the man, her 6 ears fully extended, sensing the invisible energy surrounding him. "It not Silvari," she said with relief, "but something similar artificially created. The Draconians have engineered a psionic parasite based on our genetic material." As if triggered by her presence, the colonists suddenly stopped their activities and turned as one toward the away team. Their eyes remained unfocused, but their movements became threatening as they began to advance. "Back to the beam-out point," Kate ordered, as the away team retreated, the controlled colonists pursuing with uncanny coordination. Just as they reached the designated coordinates, a wave of psionic energy washed over them. Kate felt a pressure in her mind, like thousands of whispers trying to invade her thoughts. The dampening field around them flickered as the devices struggled against the assault. Lux dropped to her knees, her fur glowing with internal light as she fought against the attack. I can feel the control node, she gasped, it orbiting the planet disguised as a communications satellite. Kate tapped her communicator. Aurora, lock onto the orbital array and destroy it. Suspected draconian psionic weapon, the ship acknowledged, and moments later the pressure in Kate's mind subsided as orbital phasers struck their target. Around them, colonists collapsed like puppets. With cut strings, Dr. Thompson quickly scanned several of them. They re-alive, she reported. Just unconscious, the psionic field was controlling their autonomic functions. When it collapsed, their bodies shut down temporarily as they beamed back to the Aurora with several affected colonists for treatment. Kate knew this was only the beginning. The Draconians had weaponized aspects of Sylvari biology, creating a terrifying new threat to the galaxy. If they deployed these weapons on a larger scale, entire civilizations could fall without a single shot being fired. In sickbay, Dr. Thompson worked frantically to revive the colonists while Lux assisted using her knowledge of psionic physiology. The alien female moved her 4 hands in complex patterns over the patient's head, sensing the damage to their neural pathways. I can help them, she told Kate. Their minds are fragmented, but not destroyed. The patterns can be restored, but it will take time. Admiral Wilson's face appeared on the view screen when Kate returned to the bridge. The situation is worse than we thought, Commodore. Similar attacks have been reported on 7 more colonies. The Draconian Empire denies involvement, claiming these are natural phenomena. Kate knew better. We recovered fragments of the control satellite, she reported. Technical analysis confirms Draconian design incorporating biological components with Sylvari DNA markers. They returning Lux people, genetic heritage into a weapon of mass enslavement. Prepare a full report, the Admiral ordered. This will be presented to the Galactic Council immediately. We need all allied species to understand the threat. This is no longer about one refugee. This is about the freedom of all sentient beings. The ceremonial chamber aboard the Aurora had been transformed according to instructions found in the silvery data crystals. Soft bioluminescent lights cast blue shadows across walls now draped with crystalline lattices that hummed with subtle energy. The air smelled of strange herbs grown in the ship's hydroponics bay under Lux. Careful supervision. Kate stood at the threshold watching as Lux made final preparations for the ritual that would awaken her dormant psionic abilities. The alien moved with solemn grace, her forearms working in perfect coordination, while her 6 ears twitched periodically, sensing energies humans could not perceive. Are you certain about this? Kate asked one final time. The Galactic Council has authorized defensive measures against the draconian psionic weapons. We could wait for their scientists to develop countermeasures. Lux turned her silver eyes reflecting starlight from the viewport. Their solutions will come too late, she said softly. 3 more colonies have fallen in the past week. Millions of minds enslaved. The Draconians are accelerating their attacks. They must be stopped. Now. Kate nodded, knowing Lux was right. The scientific teams working on countermeasures estimated months of research, while the Draconians were conquering worlds weekly using the weaponized silvery psionic abilities. According to intelligence reports, they had created a specialized neural parasite that could be dispersed through atmosphere, establishing a connection between all infected hosts and a central control node. I will stay with you during the ritual, Kate said, her voice firm. Though Dr. Thompson and the medical team had warned her of the dangers, she refused to let Lux face this alone. The alien hesitated, her ears flattening briefly. It is dangerous for non-Sylvari to witness the awakening. The psionic energies could affect your mind. Kate smiled. The dampening field will protect me, she assured Lux. But I gave you a name that makes us family, and family stands together. Lux's ears perked forward in that expression of pleasure Kate had come to recognize so well. Very well, she agreed. You may observe from behind the containment field. The ship's senior officers had gathered in the observation room, separated from the ceremonial chamber by a transparent aluminum wall reinforced with psionic dampening technology. Dr. Thompson monitored vital signs, while Chief Engineer Chen stood ready to adjust power levels. Lieutenant Park maintained security protocols, her hand never far from the emergency containment controls. Kate took her position inside the chamber, but behind the secondary containment field as Lux had instructed. The alien female knelt in the center of a circle inscribed with ancient Silvari, symbols, her four hands placed on crystalline nodes positioned at cardinal points. The ritual began with Lux's melodic voice chanting in her native language sounds no human could reproduce. The data crystals she had arranged around the circle began to pulse with increasing intensity, bathing her azure fur in waves of light. That fur now stood on end as if charged with static electricity, while her 6 ears rotated in complex patterns sensing the building energies. Kate watched in fascination. As the air around Lux began to shimmer with visible psionic energy, the alien anatomy described in the Silvari records was coming to life. Dormant glands near Lux's brain, now glowing visibly beneath her fur. Her silver eyes had taken on an internal light of their own as ancestral memories encoded in her DNA awakened. The psionic energy built to a crescendo, causing monitoring equipment to spike wildly. Kate felt pressure against her mind even through the dampening field, like the whisper of thousands of voices just beyond hearing. Lux's body arched suddenly, her forearms extended as a wave of energy pulsed outward from her form. Captain Commander Chen called urgently through the intercom. The energy readings are off the scale. We need to abort. No, Kate responded firmly, holding her position. Trust her. The wave of energy reflected off the containment field surrounding Lux, creating a feedback loop that concentrated the psionic force. The alien female was now floating several inches above the floor, her body surrounded by a nimbus of blue-white light. Her mouth opened in a silent cry as millennia of suppressed genetic memory flooded her consciousness. Then suddenly everything stopped. Lux dropped gently to the floor, the light fading as the data crystals dimmed to their normal glow. Kate rushed forward as the containment field automatically deactivated, kneeling beside the alien Lux. She called softly, cradling the alien's head. Are you all right? The silver eyes opened slowly, but they were changed. Flecks of gold now swirled within them, and they held a depth of knowledge that hadn't been there before. Lux blinked, focusing on Kate. Face. I remember. She whispered, her voice carrying new harmonics that seemed to resonate directly. In Kate's mind, I remember everything. The medical team entered, cautiously scanning Lux as she sat up with Kate. Her vital signs were stable but dramatically altered. New organs had activated throughout her body, particularly in her brain, where dormant tissues now pulsed with activity. I can sense them. Lux said, her ears rotating to track invisible currents. The enslaved colonists, their minds crying out for freedom. The draconian control network spans 17 systems now, each connected to a central nexus. Kate helped Lux to her feet, noticing how the alien moved with new confidence, her every gesture precise and powerful. What can we do? She asked. How do we fight this? Lux turned her golden-flecked gaze to the stars visible through the viewport. I must confront them directly, she explained. The Draconians have created an abomination, a perversion of Silvari abilities. They cannot control what they do not truly understand. Over the next 3 days, Lux worked with the Aurora engineering team to modify the ship's communications array. She needed to broadcast a specific psionic frequency that would disrupt the draconian control network, giving the enslaved colonists a chance to break free. Admiral Wilson had coordinated a massive fleet action targeting the draconian border worlds where the control nodes were believed to be located. The Aurora would lead the assault, carrying Lux directly to the central nexus, a massive space station hidden in an asteroid field. As they approached the coordinates, the Draconian Defense Fleet moved to intercept. Weapons fire lit up space as Earth Alliance vessels engaged the enemy. Kate stood on the bridge of the Aurora, Lux at her side, both watching the tactical display with focused intensity. Need to get closer. Lux said, her ears tracking the battle patterns. The nexus is heavily shielded. I must be within 10,000 kilometers to establish a connection. Kate nodded. Lieutenant Park, evasive pattern, Delta 7. All power to forward shields. We need to break through their defensive line. The Aurora shuddered under enemy fire as it dove toward the asteroid field. The Draconian vessels pursued relentlessly, recognizing the threat Lux posed to their new weapon. Chief Engineer Chen worked Miracles with the ship systems rerouting power and maintaining shields as they absorbed punishment, meant to cripple vessels twice their size. They retargeting our sensor array. Commander Brown reported as another blast rocked the ship. They know what we're trying to do. Lux stepped forward, placing her 4 hands on the navigation console. Let me help, she said. Her silver gold eyes glowed as she connected to the ship's systems directly through psionic interface. I can sense the gaps in their formation guide us through. Kate watched in amazement as Lux's consciousness merged partially with the Aurora. The ship responded with unprecedented agility, slipping between draconian vessels and through gaps in the asteroid field that seemed impossibly small. On the view screen, the massive space station came into view, a twisted combination of draconian architecture and biological components. We are in range, Lux announced, stepping away from the console and moving to the modified communications array. I must begin now. Kate ordered all non-essential systems powered down, diverting energy to Lux's modified transmitter and the ship's shields. The alien female stood at the center of the array, her 4 arms extended and her 6 ears fully erect as she channeled psionic energy through the ship systems on the view screen. The draconian vessels suddenly faltered in their attack patterns as confusion spread through their ranks. The first phase is working, Lux explained, her voice strained with effort. I have disrupted their connection to the slave colonies. The control nodes are trying to compensate. A massive energy surge emanated from the space station as it redirected all power to maintain control of its network. Lux's body tensed as she fought against the draconian psionic weapons, her fur glowing with internal light. She was fighting a battle on a plane. Humans could not perceive a direct confrontation between her awakened Sylvari abilities and the twisted version the draconians had created. They are trying to overwhelm me, she gasped. They have thousands of minds linked to their network. The pressure. Kate moved to Lux's side, placing her hand on the alien's shoulder. You are not alone, she said firmly. You have a name. You have a home. You are Lux. Something extraordinary happened as Kate spoke those words. The human captain's unwavering support created an anchor point for Lux's consciousness, a foundation that allowed her to withstand the draconian assault. Their connection transcended species, a bond forged through compassion and trust that gave Lux the strength she needed. With a cry that resonated both audibly and psionically, Lux unleashed the full power of her awakened abilities. The transmitter array blazed with energy as a wave of psionic force spread outward from the Aurora, targeting the precise frequencies used by the draconian control network.